Amplified Bible, Mark 3. And Jesus went to the synagogue, and a man was there who had one withered hand, as the result of an accident or disease. And the Pharisees kept watching Jesus closely to see whether he would cure him on the Sabbath, so that they might charge to bring him against him formally. And he said to the man who had the withered hand, "Get up and stand here in the midst." And he said to them, It is lawful and right on the Sabbath to do good and to do evil, to save life or take it. But they kept silent. And he glanced around at them with vexation and anger, grieved at the hardening of their hearts, and said to the man, "Hold out your hand." He held it out, and his hand was completely restored. Then the Pharisees went out and immediately held a consultation with the Herodians against him, how they might devise some means to put him to death. And Jesus retired and his disciples to the lake, and a great throng from Galilee followed him, also from Judea and from Jerusalem, and Idumea, and from beyond the Jordan, and from about Tyre and Sidon. A vast multitude, hearing all the many things that he was doing, came to him. And he told his disciples to have a little boat in constant readiness for him because of the crowd, lest they press hard upon him and crush him. For he had healed so many that all who had distressing bodily diseases kept falling upon him and pressing upon him in order that they might touch him. And the spirits, the unclean ones, and often as they might see him, fell down before him and kept screaming out, "You are the Son of God." And he charged them strictly and severely under penalty again and again, and they should not make him known. And he went up on the hillside and called to him for himself those whom he wanted to choose, and they came to him. And he appointed 12 to continue to be with him, and that he might send them out to preach as apostles or special messengers, and to have authority and power to heal the sick and drive out demons. And where Simon, and he surnamed him Peter, James and Zebedee, and John the brother of James, and he surnamed the Boanerges, that is, sons of thunder, and Andrew and Philip and Bartholomew, Nathanael and Matthew and Thomas and James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Judas not Iscariot, and Simon and Canaan, and also called Zealots, and Judas Iscariot, all he who betrayed him. Then he went to the house, probably Peter's, but a throng came together again, and Jesus and his disciples could not even take food. And when those who belonged to him, his kinsmen, heard it, they went out and take him by force, and they kept saying, "He is out of his mind, besides himself deranged." And the scribes who came down from Jerusalem said, "He is possessed by Beelzebub, and by the help of the prince of demons, he is casting out demons." And he summoned them to him, and said to them in parables, illustration or comparison, but besides truth to explain them. How can Satan drive out Satan? And if a kingdom is divided and rebelling against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. And if a house is divided, split into factions, and rebelling against itself, that house will not be able to last. And if Satan has raised an insurrection against himself, and he is divided, he cannot stand, but is surely coming to an end. But no one can go into the strong man's house and ransack his household, goods right and left, and seize them as plunder, unless he first binds the strong man. Then indeed he may thoroughly plunder the house. Truly and solemnly I say to you, all the sins will be forgiven the sons of men, and whatever abusive and blasphemous thing they utter. But whoever speaks abusively against or maliciously represents the Holy Spirit can never get forgiveness, but is guilty and is in grasp of everlasting trespass. For the persisted in saying he has an unclean spirit, when his mother and his brother came and standing outside, they sent word to him, calling for him, and the crowd was sitting around him, and they said to him, his mother and your brothers and your sister are outside asking for you. And he replied, who are my mother and my brothers? And looking around on those who sat in a circle about him, he said, see, are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the things of God wills is my brother and my sisters and mother.